Okay, I am doing this a second time because I recorded the whole thing on my computer and then realized there was no sound coming through, so I'm doing this again through my phone. Um, so I took a look at my last video from the beginning of the semester and um, comparing contrasting views. I didn't really see much of a change based off of how I feel now and how I felt then. So I was just looking at the rubric for the first video. Some of the questions on here: what information do you surround yourself with? I mentioned in the video at the beginning of the semester how I'm like obsessed with vinyl records. And the information I surround myself with is stuff based on that because that's like a daily thing for me. Pretty much an obsession. um, and I remember talking about a website called Discogs, and it's basically it's a database strictly for anything uh, physical and digital music. So pretty much every version of every album. I think they do movies too, but I use it for records. But pretty much every pressing of an album that has ever been in existence ever is logged on there, and that's where my information comes from. It's pretty accurate because it's pretty much user generated, similarly to Wikipedia. So, and people are a little more obsessive about vinyl than they are things on Wikipedia. I've noticed the detail on that website is insane. So that is where my information still comes from. That hasn't really changed. How do you think that information affects your behavior, or does it? Um, I remember also in the video before, I said that it doesn't affect my behavior, but it does, absolutely. Because you can buy and sell on that website too, and you can see how people rate certain versions of the album, and you can compare and contrast which version you should get. So that absolutely would affect anyone's behavior because if you have a comparison side by side, you can see which one is worth buying. So, without a doubt, absolutely, it affects my behavior. So, what do you think of an information professional, and what is it do you think they do? So, similarly to the video from the beginning of the semester, I remember saying that it's pretty much anyone who organizes, records, stores information, whether it be physical or digital information. Basically, they're people who maintain and track that. Um, so that's pretty much my comparison with the intro video from the beginning of the year. So, how has your understanding of an information society and professional changed? Okay, it's definitely changed. Beginning of the semester, um, I mean, I just defined what an information professional is. That hasn't changed. The definition is still the same, but my understanding is a little bit more, or I'd say a little bit more than a little bit, but I definitely understand more of what they do and like how everything works. It's pretty interesting how information is so quickly distributed. It was pretty interesting to learn about like the dark web and all that sort of like underground stuff that goes on, and it's just pretty interesting how that stuff happens right in front of us and we don't realize. But the information society it's pretty interesting. It's very much evolving constantly. Um, the way people are able to just put things out there instantly, and thousands, millions of people can view it or read it without any sort of like issue is pretty incredible. So definitely my understanding has broadened quite a bit. I understand more now how things work. Um, like I said, I've mentioned it a couple times, but like security and privacy, or maybe I mentioned it in the last video, but security and privacy are definitely things that I think I've learned the most about this semester compared to the beginning. It's pretty interesting also how not private the internet really is. Claims to be pretty private, but it's pretty easy to get someone's information, which is kind of unsettling, but also interesting. It's why people shouldn't put all their personal stuff on the internet, or on their computers too. So basically, the terms are still the same, but my understanding is definitely more defined, a little bit sharper. So, yeah, I think that covers everything.